Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sydney from PhoneDog.com and welcome to this week's episode of The Dog Pound. We're going to get started right with the news this week, starting with some exciting news about the new Samsung Galaxy S3. Now we already know that Samsung will be holding an event on May 3rd where they will presumably be announcing the new Galaxy device. But last week we saw a leaked video that showed us some of the specs of the device, and some of these are a little bit different from what we had originally heard. So originally we heard that the Galaxy S3 would have a 4.8-inch 1080p display, a 1.5 GHz quad-core Exynos processor, and great battery life. Now with this new leaked video, we're hearing that it could have a 4.6-inch Super AMOLED HD display, but 720p, not 1080p, a 1.4 GHz quad-core processor, and a 2020 mAh battery. So far as we know, it will still have an 8-megapixel camera, a gig of RAM, and will of course ship with ice cream sandwich. Keep your eyes open on PhoneDog.com as we update you guys on this, and of course, we'll have all of the news on May 3rd whenever Samsung holds this event. If you prefer HTC devices, we now know that the HTC One S will be hitting T-Mobile on April 25th for $199, and we're hearing that the One X could be hitting AT&T on May 6th, also for $199 on contract. We do have an unboxing video of the HTC One S and a review video for the HTC One X. If you're on Sprint, you may be looking forward to the HTC 4G LTE. We're hearing that this phone could be hitting the carrier on May 18th. This is just a rumor, but we'll let you know whenever we know the release date for sure. Now moving on to some Windows Phone news. Last week there was quite a bit of drama about some updates, specifically the Apollo update. It started whenever Microsoft evangelist Nuna Silva claims that all current Windows Phone devices would get the Apollo update. Shortly thereafter, The Verge said that their sources claim that these phones will not get the Apollo update and only new devices will ship with that version of the OS. Later on, Silva retracted his statement, saying that he didn't mean that current devices would get the Apollo update, but that current apps would be compatible with phones running Apollo. The news for Windows Phone didn't get any better as Nokia released its quarterly statements. Now, we had already heard that the company had sold 2 million Lumia devices, but now we're hearing that sales of the Lumia 900 have been mixed. Whereas AT&T said that sales exceeded its expectations, Nokia has said that sales in European countries have been a little more shaky. Some European carriers have even come out and said they don't feel the Lumia 900 is good enough to compete with Android and iOS. At least for the US fans, it's some good news, and hopefully the OS will have some better luck in the future. And now we have some updates on the Samsung versus Apple legal battle. If you remember, a couple of months ago, Apple sued Samsung, claiming patent infringement, trade dress infringement, and a couple of other things. Now this was a pretty big case, and now we're hearing that it could be settled out of court. The two sides have agreed to meet and try to come to some sort of agreement without having to make the case go all the way to trial. Now just because they have decided to give this a shot doesn't mean they'll actually come to an agreement, but at least we know that they're trying to work together and get a settlement. And lastly, both Verizon and AT&T have announced some expansions to their LTE network. For Verizon, the cities include Phoenix, Boston, Tyler, San Diego, San Francisco, and more. The newest markets for AT&T's LTE coverage are Akron and Canton, Ohio, and Lafayette, Indiana. So that's the news. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. All of the news articles that I talked about can be found in the description below the YouTube video with links, so be sure and check that out if you want to read more about any of these topics. But again, thanks for watching. I'm Sydney from PhoneDog.com, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.